The latest behaviors that PATAR recommends. Extract from the 738th contact of May 10, 2020. Translated with deepl.com. Disclaimer: this is an unofficial translation.
But today, dear friend, is the time I promised to tell you our latest behavior for you. For the time being I have the following to say.
A. For the following period until the end of May, we have prepared a series of explanations, necessities, information and advice for you from our committee regarding necessary behavior regarding the corona disease. The safety measures that you have thought up on your own initiative at the right time and that you have voluntarily followed for months were and are absolutely correct. And it was and is also good that you have also included my personal advice in your own good and correct decisions on your self-determined behavior, just as the external KG members and PG members have done to a large extent and thus protected themselves from harm. B.
However, in order to make some recommendations from our side for all KG members in the center as well as for all foreign KG members and passive group club members worldwide, we have now worked out a few things for you. These recommendations should not only be valid for all of you who are resident in the center and who separate yourselves from the environment in a proper and reasonable way, whereby you can guarantee a certain security against an infection, but also for all FEGU Club members, as well as for all people on Earth, who are willing to bear their responsibility for themselves and their fellow men.
C. What all of you in the center voluntarily do by reason, orienting yourselves accordingly and observing the security measures, should also apply to all foreign core group members and passive group members, as necessarily also to the entire Earth humanity in general, whereby the majority of you, however, have not followed this advice and will thereby have to endure damage, suffering and hardship. D. These necessary behaviors, which we have to recommend, are, however, now in accordance with other measures than those which are now being irresponsibly and unreasonably enacted by the various earthly authorities and state leaders in the near future, by relaxing their halfway effective ordered security measures far too early and, in some cases, by ending them. And this will happen in the coming days and weeks in a completely irresponsible manner, just as, according to our calculations, around 44% of the population will be irresponsible, driven by selfishness, self-importance and unscrupulousness, irresponsible in their own minds and will disturb public order by demonstrations and rebellion, as a result of mindless and irrational stupidity. These 44% of the population of all countries, in complete irresponsibility, have not recognized the danger of the corona epidemic since the beginning of the epidemic, nor have they even considered any preventive or safety measures, so that many of these people who deny the truth are the ones who, as a result of their stupidity, will spread the epidemic, but will also fall prey to it and die. It is these earthly people as a whole who will now, coming from all over the world, without understanding or reason, through demonstrations, uprisings and violence, cause damage to health and many other things, and that this will come about will be the responsibility of the majority of the stupid people in the authorities and governments, who are incapable of their office and act completely irresponsibly against what would be right and what has to be done, to which, instead of making loud, stupid speeches, extensive educational information was needed to comprehensively enlighten the people. E.
With regard to the coronavirus and the existing pandemic as a whole, it should also be mentioned that the threat in this regard is still present and will not be eliminated for a long time. So an infection in normal as well as in special cases still exists and remains large and unpredictable, whereby an infection occurs specifically through speaking, as I have already mentioned in other discussions. This is because when we speak, the virus is transmitted from one person to another. And this is done by the droplets of expiratory air that are expelled by speaking being transmitted through the air to other people and thereby infecting them, whereby the wind also plays a decisive role depending on the circumstances. However, this fact can only be counteracted by wearing suitable protective masks which prevent the free expulsion of the breath and expiratory droplets into the open air, so that they cannot be carried on by the air and wind. However, such protective masks must be of a professional standard and specifically equipped for this purpose. In this respect and elsewhere, however, I have further explanations to give. I will personally recommend: do not allow yourself to be misled into wrong and inadequate action behavior by careless, negligent and reckless orders of official and governmental authorities or any organizational or private design. Seductions in relation to wrong behavior of any kind can lead to dangerous health consequences, and in this respect, it can also be too early to relax and invalidate halfway effective safety measures. Effective is the coronavirus extremely insidious, which is a result of wrong behavior, which can be of a personal nature, otherwise recommended, or official and government ordered, can lead to completely wrong and health-endangering actions, as well as imparting a false sense of security, and consequently the coronavirus in its unpredictability can then unexpectedly and suddenly become active again in a far-reaching and deadly manner.
Other aspects that still need to be explained are the following.
1. The very first protective measure that must be observed under all circumstances is that a safety distance of at least 2 meters is maintained between one person and another.
A. If there is no certainty that the other person will be infected by a virus, bacterium or microorganism, a safety distance of 2.5 meters from the other person should be considered and maintained, as well as the wearing of a suitable protective mask, which should be of the type FFP2 or FFP3 as required.
B. A safety distance of at least 1.5 meters must be maintained when dealing with persons who belong to the outer circle of one's own family or a group, if there is a certain degree of certainty that they are not infected by a virus, bacterium or microorganism.
C.
A protective distance of 1.5 to 2 meters from other people should be maintained, as when walking on roads, paths, squares and places, as well as when using means of transport and shopping centers, etc. It is also compulsory to wear a suitable protective mask, FFP2 or FFP3 as required.
2. Simple protective masks must be made of a suitable non-woven filter material that neither allows the breath nor expiratory droplets to escape or enter. 3.
Protective masks must not be made of paper or simple filterless materials, just as such masks should not be made by oneself, neither scarves, handkerchiefs, neckerchiefs, bras, napkins, etc. because they are absolutely useless and cannot filter out the breath or expiratory droplets. Such products offer no protection whatsoever, and above all offer absolutely no protection against viruses, bacteria and microorganisms, and are therefore not suitable for anything, but lull those who manufacture or wear such products into a false sense of security.
4.
Industrially produced cheap paper or reject masks of all kinds usually do not contain any filtering material and therefore do not comply with any standard of an effective protective mask, therefore they are absolutely useless and endanger the health of those who trust in the alleged protection of such pseudo-protective masks.
5.
Transparent face shields, so-called visors, are not only useless, but also misleading and therefore dangerous to health. Such visors are open downwards and sideways and therefore do not touch the face, but only the forehead and are therefore not conclusive. As a result, both the breath and expiratory droplets are expelled from the mouth uninhibitedly and spread all around. This, as well as from other people whose breath and expiratory droplets can penetrate under the visor, which can then cause an infection in the person breathing in these particles.
6. Only professional FFP2 non-woven protective masks and effective FFP3 filter protective masks which are effectively functional and contain appropriate filter materials can be recommended. FFP3 filter protective masks alone are particularly suitable for protecting against viruses, bacteria and microorganisms in high numbers of over 96%.
7. Simple but professional and recommendable protective masks of the FFP2 type can be used only as disposable masks, depending on the type and material, while other better and good protective masks can be used several times and washed and disinfected. No chemical substances should be used for washing, but natural products such as natural soaps etc. Also for disinfection no chemicals should be used, but only natural products such as 70% alcohol.
A. Simple, washable non-woven fabric protective masks should only be worn until they become uncomfortably wet due to moisture produced by breathing and speaking and have to be replaced. 8.
Simple but professional and recommendable protective masks of the FFP2 type are only useful for expelling and rejecting breath and spreading or absorbing expiratory droplets, but they do not provide any protection against viruses, bacteria and microorganisms.
9.
Disposable filter protection masks with built-in filter are equivalent to an FFP3 product containing a breathing filter that cannot be replaced, therefore the mask cannot be used after a certain number of hours of use and must be disposed of properly.
A. Depending on the case with respect to persons in the immediate vicinity who are not likely to be infected with a virus, bacterium or microorganism, a disposable filtering protective mask may be worn and used for 8 to 10 hours, after which it should be disposed of properly.
B. Depending on the case with respect to persons, one or more, in the immediate vicinity who may be infected by a virus, bacillus or microorganism in case of uncertainty, a disposable protective mask shall only be used for up to 4 hours, but not more than 5 hours, after which it shall be disposed of properly.
10.
FFP3 type fixed face masks or full face filter masks with replaceable filters against viruses, bacteria and microorganisms can be used for as long as the environment of the persons present in the vicinity allows for their health.
A. Normal use for 8 to 10 hours, with a certain degree of certainty that no persons infected by viruses, bacteria or microorganisms, are moving in the vicinity. After this time, replace both filters with new ones and dispose of old filters properly.
B. Normal use for 4 to a maximum of 5 hours if there is uncertainty as to whether persons infected by viruses, bacteria or microorganisms are in the vicinity. After this time, replace both filters with new ones and dispose of old filters properly.
11.
It is normally unavoidable to carry out the daily work that has to be done to earn a living, and therefore normally it is necessary to leave one's personal life and home in order to carry out one's work duties abroad.
A. The performance of daily work for a living requires that all possible safety and precautionary measures are taken and observed to ensure health and to prevent infection with viruses, bacteria, microorganisms, fungi and parasites.
B.
When carrying out daily work outside the personal living area, special factors must be taken into account, such as
1.
Wearing protective masks when necessary.
2.
keeping 2 meters distance from the next person.
3.
No physical contact, and greeting.
4. Other general caution. 12.
The performance and execution of certain activities, in which many people usually form groups at the same time, should be avoided and carried out at times when there is no crowd, such as in the early or late night hours. For general information and understanding of the many facts regarding various health-related factors, I would like to explain the following.
X.
Around and on humans as well as around and on mammals, animals, feathered animals and all kinds of other living beings, there is an abundance of small and microorganisms, as well as mysterious viruses, which do not correspond to living beings, but inanimate organic structures in a number of 7 million known to us, which are of both good and malignant nature, depending on the case, but which only become active via a host and can cause good or evil. These diverse small and micro life forms are viruses, bacteria, fungi and parasites, some of which are good, necessary and indispensable for the existence of all life, while others are constructive and constructive, but others are dangerous, pathogenic and deadly. All living beings of every genus and species are completely and billions of times covered from the inside and outside by benign and vital bacteria. However, these live not only on the skin, invisible to the normal eye, but also in the intestines and mucous membranes, in the mouth and everywhere else where they continuously ensure that other and disease-causing bacteria cannot penetrate the body and organs and cause no diseases. The mere presence of billions of vital bacteria inhabiting the entire body is enough to repel and destroy individual or larger quantities of pathogenic bacteria before they can settle and nestle on the skin or organs. The body's billions of bacterial defenses protected in its entire organs as well as the primary immune system, regardless of whether the attackers are foreign bacteria, fungi, parasites or any other microorganisms. Even against certain light viruses the body's own skin, organs and immune system can hold its own against billions of bacteria, but there are virus types against which the entire bacterial defense system of the body has no chance at all, and therefore malicious viruses can break through the bacterial defense system, penetrate it and cause harm in the organism. This is the case, for example, when a person is already helplessly susceptible to illness due to some previous illnesses and thus due to a weakness of the immune system, or when, as a result of a senseless chemical body cleansing mania, he damages the bacterial protective layer of his body and destroys it permanently, because this causes the body's own external bacterial protective shield to collapse, whereby a malignant virus can penetrate the body and its organs and settle in the cells and begin its destructive work.
XX.
Taken as a whole, the smallest and most minute living creatures, apart from viruses, are generally referred to as germs, but these can be divided into several groups, the most important of which are bacteria and microorganisms which can also be dangerous to health and even life-threatening or simply harmful to humans. Amoebae, for example, are responsible for intestinal disorders, while parasites, such as Plasmodia, cause malaria. While fungal spores, for example, settle on the skin and cause annoying skin diseases, such as foot and nail fungus, dandruff and fungal eczema, etc., spread widely and also cause all kinds of suffering and diseases.
XXX.
In contrast to living bacteria, microorganisms, fungi and parasites, viruses do not correspond to self-sufficient living beings, but to lifeless organic structures that consist merely of a lifeless shell in which their genetic material is contained. The virus can only unfold this genetic material by using a host and then produce a corresponding effect, and only by using a cell of an organ of a living body. When the inanimate virus binds to a living cell, Its sole purpose is to multiply and rapidly spread its genetic material, which usually contains cell-infecting pathogenic factors of a particular species. On the one hand, these multiply very rapidly, while on the other hand they rapidly infect more and more cells and cause the disease contained in the genetic material to spread and become effective. The viruses therefore require living cells in which the genetic material of the viruses is then multiplied and spread at breakneck speed. If a person is infected with a virus, then the affected body cells are beaten by the virus, so to speak, in slavery and abusively forced to multiply the genetic material, similar to a copying machine, to which a text or image template is fed into the reading device, after which the machine makes endless copy after copy, copy after copy, copy after copy and so on.
XXXX. The action of the virus in the cells of the human body causes the organism to become ill because the cells affected by the virus and its destructive genetic material can no longer perform their normal function, which weakens the body's own primary immune system, and it must summon up all its strength to counteract the infection, if it is still possible to do so.
There is no medication whatsoever to defend against viruses, because viruses are not living beings but only organic structures which consequently have no metabolism, as is inherent in all forms of life, which take in food or medication and can process it and live, or even die, like bacteria and microorganisms.
With regard to very few viruses, there are individual drugs that inhibit virus multiplication, but these drugs cannot be absorbed by a virus because they have no possibility of digestion and thus no metabolic circulation. Consequently, it is only the cells which absorb the medicine in question and use it to paralyze the virus, render it ineffective and allow it to die.
Viruses in relation to colds exist in large numbers, against which certain vaccinations offer a good chance of preventing infection, as may be the case with influenza and hepatitis.
XXXXX. If the diversity of the groups of bacteria is considered, which are also called bacilli, then these tiny unicellular life forms act on the one hand as vital factors, but in a small part also as pathogens. Bacteria can also cause diseases, while others are benign and helpful for prosperity and health protection, so it is important to differentiate strictly between them and to note that some drugs, such as antibiotics, kill non-essential bacteria.
Plus, an antibiotic is a strong bacteria-killing drug, which can lead to an antibiotic defense block or an antibiotic immune attack due to intolerance, which to my knowledge is not yet known in terrestrial medical science. In addition, too frequent use can lead to complete resistance to antibiotics, as well as antibiotic intolerance, which can lead to the ineffectiveness of the drug or to health complications.
An antibiotic corresponds to a strong, all-bacteria-killing drug, therefore by this not only the disease-causing, but without exception also the benign and important bacteria are killed, and thereby also the immune system is weakened, whereby susceptibility to any other pathogens arises.
If an antibiotic is taken as a medicine against any pathogens, the healthy intestinal flora can be damaged to such an extent that it collapses completely, which disturbs the entire digestion and thus also the body's own primary immune system, which inevitably leads to a continuous disturbance of the secondary immune system. This in turn inevitably disturbs the entire community of bacteria and leads to a confusion of all organic functions with regard to digestion. This can then lead to the permanent settlement of unfavorable bacteria in the intestine, which leads to chronic intestinal inflammation and irritable bowel syndrome and to endless intestinal diseases, whereby the so-called Crohn's disease is a related disease.
Now the following should be considered as general recommendations and rules of conduct.
1.
The burden on the overall healthcare system should be kept to a minimum and therefore it should not be overstretched.
2. An appropriate adaptation to the corona epidemic situation is essential and should therefore be considered, whereby these adaptations require in particular to remain as far as possible in one's own living and residential area and to separate oneself outside of it personally as far as possible from normal contact with other persons.
3. If separation from other persons is unavoidable for important reasons, it is necessary to keep at least 2 meters distance from them and to wear a suitable and appropriate protective mask.
4. Persons suffering from ailments and illnesses as well as persons otherwise burdened by a weakened immune system must be careful not to come into close contact with persons living outside their own living and residential area, also with regard to the external circle of family, friends and acquaintances, because only in this way can limited protection against the coronavirus be achieved.
5.
In order to maintain and care for the private environment and external family life, direct contact should be avoided, but rather, if necessary and unavoidable, only maintained at a distance of 2 meters and, under certain circumstances, only by wearing a protective mask.
A. Wherever possible, contacts and communication with family and relatives living outside the personal sphere of life and home, as well as with persons in friendship and acquaintance, should only be maintained by telephone, mobile phone, email, chat or radio, etc.
6. Visits to hospitals and other care facilities should be strictly avoided.
7. As far as personal hygiene is concerned, strict attention must be paid to the fact that this is also of great importance and must be maintained during the separation period, including proper hand washing and hand disinfection with absolutely chemical-free soaps or other cleaning agents. Chemical products damage the skin, penetrate through the pores into the body and damage the organs up to cancer sufferings, etc.
8. When coughing and sneezing, it is important that this is not done in the hands, but in the crook of the elbow or in special handkerchiefs and nosecloths.
9.
Also in your own living area and home, care must be taken to maintain sufficient distance from the other roommates living in the household if these symptoms of illness lapse, such as fever, cough, malaise, sneezing fits or flu, etc.
10. If a person falls seriously ill in his or her own living area, it must be ensured that there is spatial separation. Regular ventilation of all rooms in the living areas should also be part of the daily routine.
11. With regard to the procurement of food and groceries, care should be taken to ensure that purchases are only made at times when there are few customers in the shops, and that shops are only visited when absolutely necessary and only rarely. And if so, then only if appropriate protective masks are worn and the necessary distance from other people is maintained.
A. As you have said and as you practice it yourself, the solution is, in order not to have to leave your personal living space to buy the necessary food, to choose sales and transport companies to have food delivered to your door by telephone call or internet against prepayment or invoice, where the goods are deposited without coming into contact with the delivery people. 12.
Unavoidable contact with persons living outside of one's own living area should only take place at a sufficient distance, whereby touching such as shaking hands or hugging should be taboo.
13. Recreation alone in the open air, such as walking around outside, taking a walk or doing sports, may of course be allowed, provided that the distance rule of a 2-meter distance from other people is observed and, if the situation requires it, a suitable protective mask is worn.
A. Walks may also be taken in 2s or 3s, provided that they involve persons from the personal sphere of life and home, provided that they are not harmful to health.
14. Consideration should also be given to helping fellow human beings in the neighborhood of one's own life and home, as well as elderly or sick family members living outside, and elderly or sick neighbors in need of help, to provide them with food, etc. Neighbors should not enter their living quarters, except for family members in need of assistance, taking all necessary precautions, but should leave the food to be delivered and daily groceries etc. at the door of their homes.
15.
Private meetings with outsiders should not be organized and therefore should be avoided. Also with regard to any celebrations, such as birthday parties, play dates for children or adults, movie nights, sports or group events and leisure activities, etc. Such activities should only be carried out with the persons living in the household.
16.
In the event of illness, children, it may be necessary to visit the doctor, but this should be arranged by telephone before going to the doctor.
17. When mental health problems occur, telephone services should be used by hotlines of mental health services and, if necessary, an arrangement should be made by telephone for a visit to a psychologist or psychiatrist.
18. If unavoidable visits to the doctor or other necessities are pending in order to carry out any agreed visits or meetings, then no public transport should be used, but only your own means of transport, car, bicycle or on foot. However, if only public transport is available, it must be used in accordance with all safety rules. Keep your distance, wear protective masks, do not touch other people.
19.
Travel of any kind for entertainment purposes, such as holidays, weekends, etc. should be avoided. Travel of any kind is to be avoided as generally as possible.
20.
If public transport has to be used on the way to daily work, suitable mouth and nose protection masks must be worn.
21. In a public space, there should be a meeting with only one other person at the most, according to safety rules at a distance and, if necessary, a protective mask.
22. Crowds of people should be avoided.
23.
Public institutions of any kind, such as offices, authorities, police, administrations, insurance companies and other institutions should only be visited if necessary.
These, Edward, dear friend, are my and our committee's recommendations and advices, which are recommended to be followed by all of you in the center and by all core group members outside the center, as well as passive group members, your friends and acquaintances worldwide, and also by all Earth people.
Thanks, my friend. Your long execution now only needs to reach the ears of all those who will hear your recommendations and advice. But I want to continue to speak out, and I want to speak out about all those stupid idiots who invent mindless, stupid conspiracy theories that couldn't be more idiotic. All those brainless and unbaked people, like balloon-blown, consciousness-ill and brain amputees as well as intellectual idiots, who believe the nonsense of the conspiracy inventors pathologically idiotic, also fall into the same category. This is because they are incapable of any cognition, but are just sloppy templates, an image of an absolute nothing. And these are, according to your explanations, 44% pathologically brain-burned, naked lunatics, who are in every respect insane and stupid by their existence, and are becoming more and more stupid. As a result, in their idiotic twilight they do not even realize that they are so dumb that they put their own lives at risk when they demonstrate against the safety precautions taken by authorities and governments, which are even halfway correct and therefore only partially valuable, such as going out and wearing protective masks etc. These bean-throated earthlings of roaring imbecility are actually pitiful creatures of a truth denial that never brings them profit but only disadvantage, damage and decline throughout their lives. Basically, This kind of earthlings are actually to be pitied, but they are also unable to understand this in their stupidity, because this would require an intellect and a reason, which they lack. So brain amputees continue to invent feeble-minded conspiracy theories that couldn't be more idiotic and feeble-minded, while the triple brain amputees believe all this feeble-mindedness and shout their sick stupidity and idiocy out into the world, or reveal their feeble-minded ridiculousness with described posters that they carry on their chest and back.
How right you are, and how you find words for it, I find impressive. But now, Edward, this is what I have to say to you.
Note by Billy, addendum of May 17, 2018. As it is well known, stupidity and stupidness knows no bounds, because since the corona epidemic has been raging, it has been found necessary by very clever conspiracy theory believers, who scour our figure website, to lament us with stupidly brazen and effectively idiotic emails and phone calls etc.
Due to their stupidity and irrationality, which is characterized by thoughtlessness, insanity and feeble-mindedness. This by saying or writing. For example, the following literally: Dear figure team, note, the donkey always calls himself first, because he is the wisest and wants to stand first. I'm very disappointed in you. Really with? Do you also fall for this pandemic 8 simulation, really 8? Wearing masks is very harmful for us humans. Already after half an hour the blood chemistry changes to our own damage. See Appendix I. Note, the donkey is, as said, always mentioned first, never wear a mask and will never wear one. The biggest nonsense. With that I only harm. Note, and of course the donkey is in first place again, because he has to play his unintelligent and stupid trumpet. That is, I am here and trumpet a bit loudly and demandingly into the area in order to attract attention and to put selfish and yet stupid dumb in the foreground in the hope of appearing more clever and knowing than the real reality and its unquestionable truth. Rather strengthen my immune system. A strengthening of the intelligent as well as of mind and reason would obviously be more important. Then I am healthy and possible viruses or bacteria cannot harm me at all. That would be the right way. That's my opinion on this panic simulation. NB question: where is your own opinion, if the conspiracy nonsense is picked up by obviously stupid conspiracy theorists and imitated by them? Kind regards from